she felt seen. She felt seen in this shop.
Wow.
And I was like, and she bought the book. And that's why I do this.
It's the Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. It's the Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. It's the Evan Edition.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Evan Edition, where we talk movies, TV, comics, and pop culture. I am your host, Evan Bernstein, and if you can't tell, today's episode is going to be a little bit different. We are diving into the world of comics from the perspective that we don't get to hear a lot from. I'm at Invisible Jet Comics in San Francisco, speaking with Chris, who is the owner and lifelong comic book fan who has created something truly special in, let's be honest, a space that is very dominated by males. We're going to be talking about her journey, the challenges and wins of running a comic book shop, and what it truly means to keep culture alive and inclusive. And we're going to have some fun pop culture questions at the end. Without further ado, Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
We are here. Why don't we just start it out by just talking about like what first got you into comics?
My dad. So my dad spent his allowance every week on comics and kept them all. And they weren't bagged or bordered or anything like that. They were in stacks in like this little studio apartment in the back of my grandparents' house. And so I just go out there, grab a stack of comics and just read through them. And he was a Marvel and DC fan. So, and I was just fascinated with this idea that you would have powers and what you would do is help people. And I loved that. And that's always resonated with me.
How old were you, like, around this time?
I think I picked up my first one when I was like 6. And so I didn't read a modern title until I was like in my late 20s.
Wow, okay.
So these are all ones from when he was a kid.
I mean, when you're a kid, it's the artwork, right? That really captures your eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the lovely primary colors, right?
Yeah, exactly. How did Invisible Jet Comics start?
Well, so my second career was in tech, and I worked in tech for about 23 years, which was a huge passion of mine. And, it's just like tail end of COVID, and I had just changed jobs from Google Fiber to YouTube, and sort of like the dream opportunity and all of that. And I really struggled. I wasn't happy. And at the same time, I started perimenopause. So this, these things all kind of came together to really shake my foundation. And I took some time away and really thought about what it is that I wanted. And I knew I didn't want to cry every day because that's what was happening. And so I thought about like, oh, maybe just a different job in tech, and all of it sounded awful. So I thought back to the last time I was happy in a recent time working. And so I had covered for a weekend at a comic book shop in the city.
Okay.
And I remember it was so fun, just talking with folks and stocking the shelves and doing all the stuff, right? So I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I could actually do a comic book shop. That would be awesome.
Wow.
And the name came to me like that. Invisible Jet Comics, Wonder Woman's my favorite character. So my husband and I started the process of getting that going. And down where we were living at the time, there was a saturation of comic book shops.
Mm-hmm. Is this in SF?
Actually, no, we moved away during COVID. We were down in Salinas, in rural Salinas. So Monterey and Salinas. Monterey has 2 comic book shops and Salinas has 1. So that's like pretty much it for down there.
Okay.
You don't need more than that.
This is in California?
Yeah, sorry, south of here. And so we know that there's a desert of comic book shops between the south side of San Francisco and Sunnyvale.
Okay.
So pretty much most of the peninsula doesn't have access to a comic book shop without driving for a very long time.
Right.
So I knew I wanted to be on the south side of the city because it's underserved.
Right.
And I knew that I wanted to focus on kids' graphic novels. Because if you look at the data year over year, the highest sales is manga. And then runner up would be kids' graphic novels. And then way down, like 200 down, is your Marvel or DC title.
Wow.
So, and I have an 11-year-old, and so I've seen her learn how to read with graphic novels, right? And now she reads at like 3 grades ahead, right? And
Because she's been doing it. Because
the beautiful thing about this medium is that for young people and people who are neurodivergent, it is overwhelming to see too many words.
Definitely.
And on top of that, there's this level of comprehension that you get to have by reading a comic book because you're seeing the action, the pictures, that whole thing, right?
Right.
And so it actually helps your brain identify these individual aspects, right? And also you fill in a bunch of things, right? That aren't written on the paper or necessarily drawn.
That's a great point because, I grew up with, ADHD and it was really hard for me to stay concentrated in dense books. I think the first one that I fell in love with was like The Time Machine, like for a more dense adult reading, just because, I discovered I was like in love with sci-fi.
Yeah.
But that was the only time I really dove into it. I think The Stranger also, because we had to read that in school. But it really wasn't until I started reading like comics and graphic novels that like my attention was like fully grabbed. I think you're right. It's because of those like literally painting the picture for you really feels like you're in the story.
Yeah, exactly. And can hold your attention. Right?
Yes.
And that can be really hard, even with a like a chapter book that's very interesting. It can be hard to keep your attention. There's
Definitely.
a lot of things that go on around you, right? Sounds and,
Yep.
and all of those other things that drag your attention away. And so I knew I wanted to concentrate on kids stuff. But I also wanted to, I'm a comic book fan, so I wanted single issues and I wanted, books, and I wanted something for everyone. And in particular, because I was I've been involved in sort of social justice related work for most of my life and got to do a lot of that at Google, actually.
Good.
And so I knew I wanted to have a section that was just social justice related. So the stories that aren't common, right? The stories, LGBTQ plus stories, or the neurodivergent stories, or the immigrant stories, or the tragedy stories, or eating disorders, or whatever it is. I needed to have a section where people could read about something that they have not experienced, walk in that person's shoes.
That's great.
Right? Because that creates empathy. We need this.
That's a great mindset, because typically it's like, oh, I want a book that someone can see themselves in. But your mindset is, I want books so people can actually put themselves in other people's shoes and see what they go through. Instead of just, oh, I'm reading just about myself. I want to read about what other people struggle with. That is a great way that's a little different to think about it. And as you can tell from where we are, I haven't really seen a focus like that in a comic book shop unless it's like more of a bookstore with comic books. Like, this is a comic book shop with a vast selection of graphic novels for everyone.
Exactly, because comics are for everyone.
100%. Yeah.
And it does help if somebody walks in and sees a book that actually they feel represented. They're more likely to pick a different story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. What would you say is like a typical day in this place?
Okay, I can talk about a Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Because Wednesdays are new comic book
Of
day.
course.
So Tuesdays, I put away all the new books from last week.
Okay.
And then I process all of the new books for this week, because that Tuesday is the new book day. So that'll be new graphic novels and, collections, reprints, things of that sort. So I put those out. And then I have this sort of cycle method with the individual issues. So I take the top shelf is everything that was new on Wednesday. The middle shelf was everything that was new last Wednesday, and then everything else is down at the bottom. So I shuffled them,
Reshuffle everything. Okay.
so that the top shelf is what's going to be ready for the next day, and then I, do the best I can to prepare myself for the next day, because sometimes there'll be a big title,
Right.
like let's say. I think maybe, is it this week or next week, is the Batman Deadpool.
That's gonna be big.
Yep. And so, when I did the Deadpool Batman one, which came out in I guess it was September.
Yep.
I had to process 75 comics, right? So
Wow.
some of those are for a shelf, but a lot of them were reserved.
Okay.
Right. So I am bagging and boarding the ones where I have customers that want the bag and board.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm putting them in their boxes. Right. And I'm
Wow.
doing any additional variants. Then you're, putting them in a bag and board and sealing them and putting a price on them. And so it's meticulous work, but it's enjoyable because it's predictable to a certain extent.
Right.
Right. And then in between all of that, people are coming in, I'm having conversations, people are asking me advice for kids' books or something to buy for a husband or wife or friend. And so you have these moments of community all throughout the day, right? And
Wow.
some people, they come, this is their third place, and so they spend a lot of time here.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, if you're hanging out for a long period of time, I'm gonna put you to work. Can you go put this book away?
Okay.
Things of that sort.
I like that.
And I have a few people who do that, who basically volunteer.
Yeah. I've met some of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, it's not a dull moment, I will say.
That's what you like about it.
I do.
Yeah. That's really cool.
It's it's a lot of energy, right? Because you are on all the time.
What would you say is like the most frequent question that you get asked when somebody comes into the shop? 2 questions. Yeah.
2 questions I get asked every single day.
What are they?
The first one is, how long have you been here?
Okay.
And then the second question is, do you buy comic books?
Oh, okay. Okay. So you have resellers.
Well, it's
or people that want to
people who have these collections and they're like, wondering what to do
with them.
And I don't buy
Right.
comics. And in fact, most of the shops in San Francisco don't.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why is that having a comic book shop, you have a margin, right?
Definitely.
Bookstores in general, it's the same margin.
Mm-hmm.
So a bookstore in Ohio has the same margin I do, but my rent is like 12 times.
Way more. Yes.
So it's a risk to buy,
That
older
makes
comics,
sense.
right? You don't know that you're going to have a buyer necessarily.
Right.
And so are you willing to take the risk? I'm not. So.
Wow. Okay.
I do take donations though.
I would too. Yeah, that makes sense, especially with the margins you're working with in San Francisco are extremely tight, I bet. Awesome. Well, thank you for, painting a picture of, the day-to-day and how Invisible Jet started. What I really want to get into, which is like the bread and butter of this interview, is really about breaking barriers.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever's watching, you can roll your eyes, do whatever, but the fact is, comic books and comic book culture is a very male dominated space, and it has been since its inception.
Mm-hmm.
And so and even when I told people about interviewing you and this comic book store, they were like, I don't think I've ever met a female comic book shop owner. I'm like, yeah, well, it's actually pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really want to get into that. I really want to talk about representation and the challenges and the growth that has occurred here in your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to start off by asking you, what is it like being a woman running a comic shop specifically?
Well, I will say, actually,
Very broad question.
There's a pretty big appetite for it because there's a different vibe when you walk into the shop. than a lot of shops, right?
Yeah.
A lot of shops, you know, it feels not necessarily very welcoming, right? It's not bright, it's not clean, right? All those things. And so I feel like more people feel like they can walk in here and spend time here, and they don't even think twice about it, about coming in.
Okay.
And so that's nice. I like creating an environment where people feel safe here. And, you know, people of all different kinds, right?
Mhm.
Feel safe walking into my shop. And so I think that's one. I think that in San Francisco in particular, there's a community of comic shop owners. And not everybody's interested in going and having beers together, but twice a month, everybody gets together and has beers, right?
I love that.
At Brian's shop over on Comics Experience at San
Yep.
Isidro. And we all know that this city could handle way more comic book shops than we have. We have 8 in San Francisco. There was times where it was well over 25.
Yeah.
And still nobody felt like they were in competition with each other. So this is the thing, you know, it's like there's room for all of us. And so we all support each other, which is great. And so, you know, if I am out of stock of something, I'm going to have somebody go to the closest comic shop.
That's great.
Right. And so I think that having that support of all those male comic book store owners, right?
Yeah.
They like that I'm here and that I'm doing this. Right. And so
That's cool.
I think that that's a unique thing in San Francisco, maybe.
Yeah. It feels like they protect you, kind of like they have your back in a
Well,
sense.
Yeah, I mean, they want me to succeed.
They want you-
I'll put
yeah.
it that way.
Yeah,
It's not
okay.
necessarily like they protect me, because I think that connotation isn't great. But
That's true.
more like they want me to succeed, and I want them to succeed. And
Yeah.
So
Support system.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there is one other women-owned comic book shop in San
Out of the 8
Francisco.
right now,
Yeah.
there's 2
Yeah.
out of 8. Okay.
Yeah, which is pretty historical, I think.
Yeah, 100%. When there was like 25, how
Oh, no, probably none. Because that would have been when I was younger. You
Right.
know, like, I think we really lost a lot of comic book shops in the last 2 decades.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because it's like, this is not a dead thing. People want comic book shops. Like,
That's interesting.
people, the third thing I get to hear all the time, I am so glad you're here.
That's great. That's
So,
great
you know,
to hear.
It's like,
Yeah,
you
because the
know,
perception, they
Yeah.
wanted to make it seem like it's a dying business,
yeah, and
right?
it's really not. I
Yeah.
mean, look, it's not.
I know. I get
And-
chills being around here because it's just like, it kind of shows you that the perception is wrong.
Yeah. You know, and I think I definitely get some folks into the shop who are old school and, you know, don't necessarily like some of the trends that are happening now, where you've got a lot more inclusive characters, right?
Yeah.
In comic books. Like, why did they have to make that character gay? And, you know, why did we have to change that character into a woman? And it's, you know, and what I try to gently remind people
Yes.
is that comic books, they evolve. This is why this is such a cool medium.
They've always been pushing that
Yes,
forward.
that retcon, that, like, you know, that ability to just evolve into new stories and new characters, or characters presented in a new way. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And I don't think we would continue to have these compelling stories that people are like, oh, I heard it was so hot. And you're like, yeah, I'm so out of stock. You know, it's like just that excitement that people get when there's a really good storyline, and you wouldn't have that if you kept everything the same.
What kind of response do you get when you give that kind of gentle nudging feedback?
I think usually I get, well, they just need better writers. I'm like, I agree. We need good writers.
Yeah, we always need good writers. Okay. That is something we can agree on, that part. Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, look, everybody has an opinion, really, especially about comic book characters, and it's going to be different.
Right.
This is definitely an area in which you get a lot of opinions here. People talking to each other, talking about their favorite things, people giving advice to each other, and it's always different depending on who's talking, right? And so there's something for everyone, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you could hate The Flash, let's say,
Right.
but, you know, and love Harley Quinn. Or you could, you know, think Hulk is awesome and hate She-Hulk, you know? It's like,
Yeah,
it
definitely.
doesn't matter. There's so many stories.
Yeah, also at the same time, like if let's say they gender swap or they race swap, something
Mhm.
like that,
Mhm.
you always have the original stuff that
Mhm.
you love. That's not going away.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
And
there
in fact,
will be
informs the new stories.
100%. It
Mhm.
informs it in a different way that you would not have seen
Mhm.
if it just continued that way.
Correct.
And then at the same time, it's going to go back to that way at some point. You just like let this ride out and maybe you'll learn something that you didn't necessarily learn from the original run.
You might like this
Exactly.
if you give it a try. And that's part of it too, is like what I'm seeing happen is that we're getting more representation,
Uh-huh.
right? At least from women writers. And I would say that, Gail Simone is a huge force in that, right? Or actually talking about some of these, having women in stories that are just there to move the story along.
Uh-huh.
Right? This is the woman in the refrigerator. I don't know if you know about this.
I don't know it. No, I'm not familiar.
Yeah. So there was a storyline
Yeah.
where the superhero's wife, I think, girlfriend, was killed
Okay.
and put into a refrigerator. And that was just this mechanism to move the story to a certain place, and how awful that is to use women in that way.
Okay.
Right? She wasn't like had, her own sort of like character arc and all of that other stuff. This was a mechanism.
Right.
And so calling that out and saying that, we're three-dimensional people.
Yes.
We're humans.
Yep.
Right? And that we need to be characters in these stories that aren't just about moving the male story forward. And so
Right. They're not just jobbers for the lead male.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I think we're starting to see that a lot more. Like Gail is doing, Uncanny X-Men right now,
Right.
which is great. And, Kelly Thompson is doing the Absolute Wonder Woman run, as well as, Jeff the Land Shark. Can't leave that out. But and you have a lot of women who are writing and who are telling stories that are appealing to both men and women and people who identify as neither one, right?
Yeah.
And so the more we have that, the more support we have, the more opportunities that are given to women and people of color and people who are LGBTQ plus, is so important, right? And so it's worth picking up that comic that's by somebody that you've never heard of to give it a try.
Do you try when they come in to this is actually something that I think you might like?
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely will give suggestions to people if I know the kind of stuff that they like. And I mean, there's some of my customers, they know what they like. That's what they're going to read.
Okay.
And that's fine. Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not here to push anybody outside their comfort zone.
Right.
Right? I just, if somebody's open to it, I'm absolutely going to suggest some things that they might like.
Has there ever been a time, running this shop where you felt maybe like underestimated or dismissed?
I kind of don't allow it.
Okay. How do you do that?
And
how do I learn that? No,
well, I mean, I think that the way, I haven't had much of somebody coming in here and trying to disrespect me. Because certainly if you come in and you are being disrespectful, I'm going to tell you got to go. Because
have you had to do that?
With some folks that maybe are unhomed, but are still fairly lucid. And actually, I've gotten a lot of respect because of that, because I've been like, no, you got to go.
Yeah.
And people do.
No, I've been here. I've seen it firsthand. Yeah. And you've let them browse and you don't treat them just like they're displaced and that's it.
But if you come in and you're acting a certain way that is making people feel uncomfortable, I'm going to tell you got to go.
You have to protect your customers in your store.
Absolutely. And, I mean, I've only maybe had one situation where I felt afraid. Right. And it wasn't somebody in my shop. It was somebody outside of my shop, but still, real bad behavior. And so But otherwise, people come in, they see me, and they don't really.
Okay. That's definitely an SF thing.
It's an
You know
SF
what I mean?
thing.
Dealing with, unhomed people coming in, wandering in, stuff like that.
Or kids high school kids who are on lunch, who are outside swearing
Yep.
and doing things, and I'm
Yeah.
like, knock it off.
Yep.
And they do.
Yeah. Like, you can put the cigarette out and look for a book if you want,
No, but just being disrespectful outside my store. I just
Yeah.
tell them, no, you don't do that, and they don't.
That's
Because I do feel like if you tell somebody in the way that I do, which is like mama, auntie, like all that stuff, like this is not behavior that I like.
right.
They
Yeah.
usually will respond well to that.
Yeah. Okay. What about like not just running the shop and being in the shop, but being a woman in love with comic books and comic culture? Like, has there ever been a time where you felt like, like dismissed, or they were treating you somewhat differently, or your point of view differently because you are a woman?
Funny enough, I had way more of that in tech than I do here. So
That is telling.
I've never had anybody say, "Can I talk to your manager? Can I talk to a man?"
Okay. Interesting. So you would say that comics in general is a much more inclusive community.
Well, yeah, face to face, certainly.
Face to face.
It doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be less boobs in a book,
Of course.
but
Gotta have the boobs.
But I do think that generally, if they're in my store, they see me, I'm the owner, they're not going to be disrespectful to me because I'm a woman.
That's good. How would you say the community has changed? Have you seen more women, more diverse readers now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Some of the stuff that I'm trying to get people to the sort of in particular, so Wonder Woman's current run is by Tom King, and it's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. But I mean, it is touching on things that make a lot of men feel really uncomfortable.
Good.
Right? So she decides to have a baby. This is a decision she makes.
Wow.
And she takes, the baby's like strapped to her while she's being a superhero.
While she's fighting.
And this doesn't make her any less of a superhero.
Right.
And that is an uncomfortable thing for some people. And so there's a lot of internet chatter about how like there's going to be 2 issues that aren't done by Tom King, and everybody should buy them out so that, Tom King gets kicked off of Wonder Woman. And I'm like, don't do that. I love this,
Wow.
It's like, I read it and I'm like, I'm grinning from ear to ear and almost tearing up when I read this book because she's so fierce, and this is what we need.
That's badass.
We need women who are fierce as hell
Mm-hmm.
and can do all the things, can save the world, have a baby, like do all of these and have emotion, and all of that's okay.
Have you seen Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
There is a Black female Spider-Woman who is pregnant.
Yes, and rides a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I love her.
How do you feel about that character?
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Being a hero who's pregnant.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
There's nothing that should stop anybody from being a hero because they're pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be mindful, right? Obviously. But like an example, so the woman who was playing Gal Gadot, right, who was playing Wonder Woman, she did all of the retakes that they needed to do. 5 months pregnant.
Pregnant, right?
Yeah, they like green screened her tummy.
Yeah.
So
that's badass.
this is the thing. I mean, we can do a lot of things. So one thing about representation, I just want to get back to it really quickly.
Yeah.
So I would say that both Marvel and DC are really trying to show that they are, I don't know, woke maybe, by, so Marvel does the voices stuff, right? And DC does their own versions of that.
Okay.
And I would say actually where both of them are doing better.
What can you explain, just for the uninitiated, what Marvel Voices is?
Yes. So Marvel Voices is a series of comics that are representative in nature. So they have voices once for like indigenous, and I think it's like Latinx and indigenous, and then they have one that's more LGBTQ plus. They have one for women. They have ones that are for Black people, and so there's like, and where the characters are they're written and drawn by people who are representative of that community, of the giving community. And so, but they tend to be pretty seasonal.
Okay.
Like you're going to get the LGBTQ plus one in June.
Right.
Right. And then it's not all year long. And I feel like, you know, people who identify in any of these groups are not just that for a month.
Right.
And so
that's a good point.
What we want to see is we want to see more representative writers writing representative stories all the time. And I think they are trying, right? I mean, but where I see the most success actually is in their young adult stuff, because they can play with the stories a little bit more because they're not necessarily canon.
Right.
And so they can, and so what I've seen is actually those stories are great and done by representative writers and artists.
Do you have any in mind?
I can talk about some of the DC ones because I think they're doing it the best.
Okay. And this is coming from, I mean, you are a Marvel and DC girl, but
yeah.
You know, you sway a little bit to Marvel, right? More? Besides, I mean, obviously Wonder Woman is your goat.
Yes. You know,
You're right in the middle?
I would say so, yeah.
That's good. Okay, that's cool.
Because then I also have a bunch that don't fit into Marvel and DC that I really love, right? Like Image.
Very good
Dark
point.
Horse
Yes.
And Boom. And I love Boom Comics because they're doing such good stuff right now. And Oni is also doing a bunch of really great stuff. So there's a lot of publishers. And so if you only ever read Marvel and DC, you're missing out on some stuff. Just saying.
You hear that? Yep.
So I'll give you an example. So one of them is about Barbara Gordon, who's Batgirl, right?
Yep.
Except Batgirl gets hurt, right? And she can't walk. And so she's in a wheelchair. And she, you know, this is this idea, which I really like the storyline, which is that when things happen and you have to change, how do you handle that?
Yeah.
Because this is a fundamental thing, right? Like, not only can she not be the hero that she was, right? But she's also, in her regular life, she also can't be what she was.
Right.
And so she reinvents herself as Oracle.
Oracle,
hacker, right? So like, that story is so great on so many levels, right? Because it really talks about how like you can change. You can meet the challenges that life brings to you. And actually even, you know, go into an area in which you never would have even had the opportunity to do.
100%.
Life handed you what it handed you, right?
Yeah. And even, you know, with Batgirl in particular, I mean, even being a woman, a young woman, and establishing herself as being taken as a serious hero, someone that is up there with the likes of Batman and Robin and these people, and you know, Nightwing, and you know, and being taken, and then all that taken away from one instance, and then having to rebuild yourself back up to be a hero again. That gives me chills. That's like, how could you not dive deeper into that story? It's so beautiful. It's so, everything is there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Another example is like the Miss Marvel stuff, right? I mean, talk about completely change. And a lot of people have been very unhappy about the fact that they rewrote her a bit, right? She was not a mutant, you know, she's inhuman. Okay, fine. But you have a character who's a young woman of color who's Muslim, right? And is so like that, the depth of her community and the people who are around her, and now it's being written by the woman who plays her, you know, who played her in the show, is like, because the woman who was writing it was like, you know, this character.
She is obsessed with that character before she even got it. So the fact that she's able to write it herself, it's probably it's a beautiful dream come true, full circle moment. That's like something that should be celebrated.
Yes, absolutely. And so, you know, I feel like you can find these, you know, this whole idea of like, it reinvents itself, right? It evolves, and it's a good thing. Even if it doesn't completely stick to canon, it's a good thing. Right? And so, you know, There's nothing better.
What do you wish more people understood about women in geek culture?
Oh, we've always been geeks. I mean, one way or the other, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and that it's not a club, right? We all kind of
Yeah.
come at it from our own stuff. I mean, I was about as geek as it went because of my dad, probably.
Right.
But my dad was into sci-fi books, Isaac Asimov and all of those,
Yeah.
and like video games, right? We used to go to the arcade all the time, and um, even card games, and all the things, right? And comic books and all of that, right? All of those things are super fun.
You
So
100%.
you have a lot of women who play video games. You have a lot of women who read comic books. You have a lot of women who are into tech or sci-fi or any number of other things that were always sort of considered geek culture, right?
Right.
I think that line is getting blurred.
Good. That's very good. I saw something not too long ago. It was like Denzel Washington was being interviewed for like a movie he was doing,
Mhm.
and they cycle through people through Zoom or whatever it is, different interviewers.
Mhm.
And one of them, I believe her handle was like Black Nerd Girls or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And he was like in the middle, like after she was talking, like explain like Black Nerd Girls to me. And he's like, and she was like trying to explain it, and I don't think he was understanding like the stigma that like Black women can't be nerds about geek culture, about movies, about comics,
Black
about
men
stuff like
too.
that.
Black men too.
100%. But coming from a Black man, even he was kind of like not understanding what that title meant, what her show meant.
Right.
And it was interesting to see that, like, he was like, explain that to, like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, and even when she was explaining it, it didn't seem like it was sticking, like, that there is this stigma.
There's some generational stuff there, though, too. I think
100%.
I doubt Denzel Washington is much of a nerd. I mean,
yeah, he says he doesn't.
anything.
No, that's true. He says he doesn't even watch movies anymore. So I definitely could see that, like that. It's not computing.
Well, and I'm a movie nerd. I'm a video game nerd. I'm a comic book nerd. I'm a geek because I like tech, and I'm not afraid of it, which is actually a little rare in the comic book owners.
100%. No. I mean, I remember even with the transition to digital comics, when that started, a lot of comic book owners were like very upset that I was going to put them out of business. Yeah. It didn't do that at all.
I'll tell you, I have people who walk in here and they go, "Oh, I love the smell of a comic book store."
100%.
People look, I read comics online because I don't want to take stock
that
from
makes
my
sense.
Customers, right? And it's just easier because I can kind of take it wherever with me, right?
Right.
And it's beautiful. You can zoom in on things. Like that kind of stuff is really neat. Does it replace holding a book in my hand? Absolutely not.
That's good.
I mean, there's something about that tangible element. And I actually was an early adopter of Kindle and a bunch of other things, right? So I've been reading books on my Kindle forever. I'm telling you, when you travel and you have to bring a whole nother suitcase for your books, a Kindle is a lifesaver.
Also, I don't want my issues or my I don't like them messed up. I know people love like some like the wear and tear, the bent corners, stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know why. Maybe it's like the collector kind of in me, but I'm like, no, like I don't want my bind like to be just like. And I know a lot of people, they love to just like get into it and be like, it's used. I'm like,
well loved.
Well loved, yes.
The dog-eared books, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is and that's okay. Like how people approach their books, whether it's comic books or, graphic novels or whatever it is, that is a strictly personal choice, right?
Definitely.
So I have people who very gently read their comic books, put it back in the bag, and then close it up, and that's it. And they won't read it again. And then they'll buy the trade probably later so that they can read it again if they want to. But because they want to hang on to this thing, it means something to them, whether that's collector culture or not, it's fine.
Definitely.
It's totally fine.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the state of comics currently. What's the toughest part about keeping a physical comic book shop alive in 2025?
Well, in general, it's not tough.
Okay.
I'll just
We're
say.
done. No,
In general.
okay.
But I mean, I'm also I'm a pretty resilient person, so I'm
Right.
not like what might be tough to me or what might not be tough to me might be very tough for someone else. So
Okay.
I can only do it from my point of view. The toughest thing has been Diamond filing for Chapter 11, actually.
Okay.
That has posed a lot of hurdles that then I need to overcome. So for context, Diamond was a distributor for comic books and had been forever.
Yep.
And they welcomed all publishers regardless of size. So,
Which is rare.
Which
by
is
the
a
way.
very big deal.
Very
so
rare.
You could have a publisher that maybe has 2 titles and they're good, right? But they would never get distributed in a wide, to a wide audience because that takes big infrastructure, right?
Definitely.
And so they would take those comics and they would put them in their catalog, right? When they filed for Chapter 11, apparently they hadn't been paying people for quite some time. And so what happened is a lot of those small publishers had to go out of business, which is very sad. So I then have reached out to some of them on my own to set up a reseller account to try and still get them.
Right.
Because I think those are the ones that are doing the stories that I want, right?
Yeah.
They also were a distributor for some of the like more old school, like Simon and Schuster, which is a publisher and a distributor, and like HarperCollins, which is also a publisher and a distributor. And so they own a lot of imprints that I might want, right?
Right.
But having to go to 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 different distributors to get the 5 books I want.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot of work, right? And so they were a mechanism for me to get those books. And so now they're not. They've lost they don't have any exclusivity anymore with any publisher. And they've lost a lot of the publishers they did have.
Right.
So in the intervening time, so let's say Dynamite, who's a publisher, they do things like Red Sonja and Vampirella and those types of titles. They were one of the last holdouts with Diamond. And so they were like done with it. They hadn't been paid in like a year. So they switched to Lunar. Lunar has an exclusivity with DC and Image. And so they switched over. But while they were able to get the comics faster, a whole bunch of titles were delayed. People were waiting.
And like big titles, right?
Yeah. So like the Demona, which is a Gargoyles run.
Yeah.
So people were waiting a long time on that. There were some other ones. And so, and it just, there was not real good visibility into when these things were going to happen, right?
Right.
Because it's, as a distributor, you're waiting for your stock from the publisher, right?
Right.
So now, like all the graphic novels, I can't get them because Diamond doesn't have them anymore, but Lunar doesn't have them yet.
Like
and so trying to tell customers
yeah.
who've pre-ordered or who've ordered things, I just don't know. It's tough.
Yeah.
Right. And that's been a lot of the narrative, I would say, for the last 8 or 9 months has been, I just don't know yet.
Wow.
And so that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Right? But that's temporary.
Yeah, 100%. Do you think comic book shops will always have a place in the community?
Yes.
Why is that?
I think that for all the reasons I said, right? Kids, right? And I'll tell you, the thing parents want to do the most is buy a book for a kid, right? And just seeing the excitement and joy of kids when they come in and they're like, oh, this, oh, and this, and this, and this, and so like, that's magical, right? And then for single issues, I think that there's always going to be people who want that. They want the story every month. They want that continuity.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. Like people come here on Wednesdays and they're excited, you know, either whether or not they have like a pull box, like a subscription, or they're just looking on the shelves for things. I have people come in first thing. As soon as I open my doors on Wednesday, I have people in the shop.
That's
buying comics,
awesome.
you know? So and young people, this is not like, you know, people my age, right?
Right.
Like this is people in college, people, you know, in their very early 20s, some teens, you know, like this is the generation that's buying this.
How do you feel when you see someone that was your age when your dad first got you into comics and they're in the store and they're opening up, you know, The Flash for the first time or Daredevil, you know, something like that. Like, how do you feel when you see that in your store?
It's great. This is why I do this. Right? I need those kids to grow up thinking that heroes are awesome, because they're going to be the people who are writing and drawing the next generation.
100%. Or they will become a hero in their own right one day themselves.
Exactly.
That's really beautiful. What titles or like creators or runs are you most excited about right now?
Well, I would say that the Absolute series is terrific. Yeah. It's terrific.
Yeah, and people are loving it.
And they are definitely pushing those boundaries. I think that the Ultimate series, you know, so it's Ultimate Spider-Man, Wolverine, X-Men, et cetera, Black Panther, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then the Ultimates run. That's all coming to a head this year. So
in like a major event?
Yeah.
Do you know what the event's going to be called?
Well, it's Ultimate Endgame.
Is that what's going to be called? Ultimate Endgame? That sounds awesome.
So, yeah. And I don't think that it's going to necessarily end. But I think it's going to really sort of shake it up, and there's going to be a big change. Now, the last time they did the Ultimate stuff, right? We got Miles Morales.
Yep.
So
that was like 2011, something like that. Yeah.
So this is exciting, right? And I'll tell you, Ultimate Spider-Man has been, before the Absolute stuff happened, was by far my most subscribed comic.
Okay.
I mean, it was like such a game changer for me.
Wow.
Right? To have 20 people subscribe to this.
Wow.
And then on top of that, to have people coming in every week. And I think it's because, I mean, I don't know if you know the story. Are you following the story? The Ultimate
of Spider-Man?
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Of Ultimate Spider-Man? Is that the one where he doesn't become Spider-Man and he has kids?
Yes.
And then Tony comes to him with like the spider and he's like, in another universe, you are this hero.
Yeah.
You have a choice. Do you want to be bitten by or not? Right? That one?
Yeah. It's
essentially.
They broke canon, right?
Right.
Because they can with the Ultimate
It
stuff,
sounded
right?
awesome. I have not gotten into it, but
you should. Yeah.
should.
So he, unlike every other Spider-Man ever, he is not bitten as a teenager.
Okay.
He is an adult. He's married. He has kids. He has a job.
Yeah.
And then has to navigate.
Ben's alive, right? Ben's alive.
Yes,
right?
I believe so. And you know, basically, like, has to like navigate that. That is really a compelling story for somebody who, for a certain age group,
right?
Right, that has kids and, you know, young kids and all of that, and then has to now navigate being a hero. And so, and it's Mary Jane, of course, so it's like even better, right?
Yep.
Everybody always wants him to be with Mary Jane.
Yeah.
And so
has to be.
It's been really like, it's been very, very popular. I mean, and it hasn't died off at all.
Right.
The popularity of it. Sometimes you'll see something's really popular in the beginning and it starts to sort of trickle off.
Definitely.
This has not at all, right? And then, you know, like the Wolverine one is, the Ultimate Wolverine is Bucky Barnes.
He becomes Wolverine. So instead of the super soldier, they give him adamantium also? Is that right? Okay. You got to get into it. Okay, I'm in the right place.
And then the X-Men one is also really interesting, and it's been not as universally loved, but I think that it has a place for people who enjoy a certain sort of maybe an aesthetic. So it's Peach Momoko, right, is writing it and doing the art. which she's amazing at.
And what has she done previously?
Well, she did the she did the Demon Wars ones.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with those.
I didn't read them, but I am familiar. Yes.
Yeah, she's done a lot of stuff. I mean,
Okay.
This is her first really long run.
That's great.
And she does covers all the time. She doesn't speak English, is my understanding. She does the comics in Japanese and then it's translated.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. And so she's doing the Ultimate X-Men run.
Okay.
It's all very steeped in Japanese culture in terms of like the different mutants and the storylines and all of that.
Okay.
And so I think it's quite beautiful, but it's had because it's so steeped in that, I think that some people don't feel connection to that as X-Men. Right. Because I think X-Men is very much a US thing.
And they're very precious. X-Men fans are very precious about that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, Charles is from England, by the way.
I know, but it is an American
No, it is.
comic.
It is. Yeah.
And it started here, and it came out of wanting to have a conversation about civil rights.
100%.
Right? So, like, this is a very American thing.
Yes.
And so people are characters. All these characters, they mean so much to people.
100%. That's
all of them.
Best part.
DC, Marvel, doesn't matter. I mean, these characters are part of these people.
It matters to them. Like, it's their family, or it's their teacher. Like, it taught them a lot.
Yeah.
Would you say, movies and shows about this stuff are helping or hurting comic book sales?
I think they help.
Okay.
Ultimately, I think they help.
Ultimately.
Yes.
Is there any part of it that it does hurt it? If a movie doesn't do well, if a show is not universally well,
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I think that if something does well, people want more.
Right.
Right? They come in, they go, do you have anything on this? And do you have anything on that? I think that, you get Craven comes out and bombs and people aren't coming in the next day and asking me for Craven comics.
Yeah, that's true. No Morbius lovers out there after that.
Or Madam Web.
Or New Mutants or anything like
New
that.
Mutants was so good.
The movie?
Come on. Yes.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It came out in the depth of COVID, right?
100%.
Theaters were all shut down. They did no press on it, no advertising. They didn't do any of it. I stumbled on it, and I thought it was quite good.
What did you like about New Mutants?
I thought that the characters were pretty right on. I mean, a couple little nitpicky things you could say, right? They didn't include one of the characters who is very well loved.
Okay. Which character is that?
She's like Vietnamese, I think, and LGBTQ plus. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either.
I could probably go pull New Mutants thing off the shelf. But I liked that they did the bear story.
Yeah.
I liked the visuals. I liked how they did it. I liked that universe was kind of directly post Old Man Wolverine.
Yeah.
Right? I really thought it was quite good.
Okay.
I thought Magic was dead on.
I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy is such a great actress. I thought she was a good Magic.
I think they might get her for a
back?
Magic. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Which would be amazing.
And get her into what? Into Secret Wars or something like that? Or
well, I mean, all this stuff is coming.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
And the Magic run, actually, which just wrapped up recently, was wildly popular. Okay. So, I mean, and she's a character in a lot of different runs. Okay. So I think that, like, this is the Magic time right now.
Literally. Now that we're on the subject of movies, what is your favorite comic book movie of all time?
Yeah, it's really hard to just pick one, right?
Yeah. You can give me a couple, ones that you really, these are your goats.
Yeah. So, okay, ones that I've watched more than 10 times.
Yeah.
Okay. So, definitely the first Wonder Woman movie.
Okay.
The first one. Yep. The second one was just
Yeah, it was sad. It was disappointing.
There is no way in which she should look like she's roller skating.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
And if you're going to put Max Lord in the movie, have her behead him, please.
Yep. Like in the comics, right?
It was such a huge deal.
Yeah.
Right? But I digress. Anyway, The first one, even if I watched it tonight, would still fill me with this almost happy tears in all of those beginning scenes with the Amazons.
Yep.
It's just so beautiful. Like everything about it. It's just so beautiful.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
Though when I first saw it in the theater, and when they're in the town, and she, I don't want to do any spoilers.
You
but
can
she-
spoil it. It's been
Okay.
out for a minute.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
you're good.
When she goes to have sex with Steve Trevor, I was pissed. I was like, Wonder Woman is no hoe.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
And then, but
After they save
Yeah.
that town. Yeah.
yes, and I mean, I obviously understand they were setting up this thing about love, right? And that was the key,
Right.
right? And so that's fine. But at the time, I was so mad. So I would say that I really liked the Across the Spider-Verse movies,
Okay.
both of them. I'm really waiting for the next one.
Yeah, I cannot wait for
The art
Beyond.
style, the just how they can invoke the different sort of emotions with the art,
Yeah.
right? The frenetic
Oh
style
man, the
and
scenes
like,
with Spider-Gwen in her world and the
Oh,
colors changing
yes,
depending on their emotions as she's
Yes.
speaking to her father. It's
I
just like
know. It's
some of the most beautiful imagery I've ever seen, and it really feels like a comic book coming
Yes.
to life.
Yes.
Like
yes.
yeah. Which one do you which one do you like better? Across the Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse, the first one?
So I would say the first one, because for me it was so groundbreaking, right?
100%.
Just and the sort of trauma that a family member who you look up to is doing stuff that's just counter to everything you believe in, and all of those pieces were all really good, and of course some of the other spider characters in that were like really funny, right? Like
Yeah.
the noir with
Yeah.
this whole thing, and
Which we're
like,
gonna get a show with
yeah,
Nicolas Cage.
yes, and
Crazy.
and the pig and all the
Yeah.
things, right? It was definitely entertaining. I really liked Aunt May in that.
She was
like,
cool, yeah.
Totally no nonsense.
Yeah.
Excellent. And
It was
to
Lily
introduce.
Tomlin that played the voice.
Yeah.
Perfect Aunt May.
Oh yeah. The second one though introduced characters that I felt more connected to, right? Like
Yes.
with Spider-Woman, and of course brought Gwen back again, and
Right.
and the baby. The baby.
Mayday.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Mayday finally got her day,
And just, seeing all the different spider characters was very, very cool.
Yeah.
And led me to getting a 5,000 piece puzzle of all the spider characters.
Okay. That's awesome. Is it together?
No, I need a bigger table. So I would say I really love those. I actually really liked the newer Spider-Man ones. It's funny because I went back and I watched all of them, all
Yeah.
of the different Spider ones, starting with the
Tobey.
Tobey Maguire, and then with Garfield, and then the new ones.
Holland, yeah.
I'd forgotten how like borderline horror movie the first ones were, because they were all Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi,
movies,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, these are actually kind of like scary.
Yeah.
They didn't feel like a kid movie. I mean, I saw them as an adult, so
Right.
but I really liked the Garfield ones, and talk about the best Aunt May and Ben, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Powerhouse actors.
Yeah. Sally Field and Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And they had really good charisma, actually.
Yeah.
With each other.
Who is your on-screen Spider-Man? Like
I really like what's his-
Andrew?
Yeah.
Andrew?
Sorry, I
A
just
lot of
love
people
him.
go
He's
for
adorable.
Andrew. Yeah, he was great in No Way Home
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, all of them were really good.
They were really good together, but I thought Andrew kind of reminded people like, hold on a second. This is a great Spider-Man 2, even though he got, only 2 films, and the second one, wasn't as good as people wanted it to be.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know.
The final one, though, I think really touched on the core of Spider-Man's character, which is that he's selfless
Yes.
and that he will give up everything for the greater good.
100%.
And that's like, that is a core tenet, I think, of Spider-Man that's really important.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think seeing how the Spider-Verse movies are panning out and where it's going, is Miles going to learn that same lesson in not saving his dad? If this is supposed to be a canon event,
Mm-hmm.
and if he does do it and saves him, that it will destroy the multiverse, I just can't wait to see what they're going to do.
I know.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Is there any comic book TV shows that you love?
So during COVID, when we had lots and lots of time,
Yes.
my husband and I found this guide to watching all of the MCU, including TV.
Yes.
In
chronological order.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we did, which was, probably like 1,000 hours of content.
Oh, I did it with my wife. I got her into the MCU during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, this just shows that I'm like a Buffy fan.
Yes.
Right? Is that I really liked the one with Coulson.
Oh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I thought it was really good.
A lot of people love that show. I fell off after the
stuff.
Ghost Rider. Yeah, season 4. I
liked
think
that Ghost Rider. Actually.
I liked him a lot. That was my
great.
favorite part.
Yeah,
he was fantastic in it. I really was hoping they would just bring him back as Ghost Rider. I think he is a fantastic actor. He's in The Last of Us. He plays Joel's brother in The Last of Us. He's a great actor. He was in like one of the crappy Terminator movies where he was, but he is really good. I was like, man, I hope they bring him back as Ghost Rider. But there is a rabid fan base for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. And I would say, like, I really liked how there were things in the movies that were then clarified by watching it in that way. Now, there were definitely some things that don't really fit in, right? Runaways didn't fit in.
No.
Right? Cloak and Dagger didn't fit in.
Right.
What was the other one? There was another one that didn't fit very well either.
I don't know. I mean, did you ever see Legion? You ever see Legion?
Yeah.
It was, no, okay.
The
The first season I really, really loved. It's from Noah Hawley, who did like Fargo on TV, and he just did Alien Earth on TV. He's just a fantastic.
Which I hear is quite good.
It was good. I liked it. I did not like the ending, I would say, but fantastic writing. What is, out of those MCU shows that you watch, what is your favorite MCU TV show?
Well, I can tell you the ones that I thought were really good,
Yeah.
but I would not rewatch.
Okay.
Jessica Jones
Okay.
was by far like one of the scariest bad guys.
Oh, the Purple Man?
The way that it was done in that show,
it was
very difficult.
Trauma inducing. It was hard to watch sometimes.
And they didn't pull punches in it.
No, and keep in mind it wasn't like in the MCU. It was like a Netflix. It was when Netflix.
It's all still MCU. I mean, those were all the New York characters.
Yeah, they tried to.
Characters.
Yes.
Let's be clear. So this is not
Hell's Kitchen. Yeah,
it's not Hell's. We're talking like, well, Hell's Kitchen's in Manhattan.
Yes,
but these are the really dark adult stories,
as they should be.
Luke Cage, and it's like
Daredevil,
Jessica Jones, Daredevil,
Punisher.
I have a hard time with Punisher. It's just so much one-on-one violence.
Too bloody. Okay.
It's not that it's bloody. It's the
brutal. It's brutal.
Of it, right?
Okay. Did you watch the Punisher season 1?
We watched all of it.
You watched all of it. Did you? Okay. So, I guess out of those Netflix ones, since you're not giving me a clear one of the MCU ones, so the Netflix ones is like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil. Okay.
I like Miss Marvel.
That's your favorite MCU one.
I liked.
Oh, you really liked She-Hulk?
I did.
Okay.
A lot.
What did you like about the She-Hulk TV series?
Well, first of all, she's like Deadpool is a fourth wall breaker.
Yes.
Right. Which I always like. Anyway, I mean, I come from I come from the days of like Airplane and that kind of
Yeah.
comedy, and the fourth wall break is part of that, right?
Okay.
So, and I loved the fact that she was trying to date, and how people just wanted it to be She-Hulk and not her, right? Even though she's like this, she's this lawyer, she's beautiful, she's successful, she's all these things, she's funny, and
horny.
all you want is,
You know, she wants
all
to
you want
date.
is
It's a real.
She-Hulk. You know?
Yeah, that's what people wanted. They just
Right.
wanted She-Hulk. They don't want Jennifer Walters.
And
but
so I thought the end
her
just went
dating,
off
you know.
the rails, but up until that point, it was very entertaining.
The Daredevil stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Daredevil
Which
walk
is-
of shame,
It's
holding
totally
his
a
boots.
thing.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
Daredevil
in the
hooks up with
comics.
every hot girl from the comics.
You know, he was in San Francisco for a while.
Oh yeah. The run.
Yeah.
No, I know. I think they might do it in the next, because they said that Karen was in San Francisco.
Mhm.
In the, did you see Daredevil Born Again?
I haven't watched this.
Okay,
before.
it's really
I read
good. It's of course. This is not like the run.
No,
It's not. It's just
I'm sure.
it's not. It's just the name, right?
Well, it doesn't matter. Still, I had so many people come in and pick up Born Again.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought the omnibus of it to read it again. I bought an original one. I wanted one from the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, when it came out, so I got it.
Yeah,
The book.
My husband has it, and so my husband and I were best friends first, right?
That's
He's the one who recommended he's the one who's like, oh, you need to read. You haven't read anything since that came out past the 65 or whatever, or 69. He's like, okay, I got a whole bunch of things, So
That's
it was like,
cool.
so it was, a whole bunch of stuff by Frank Miller, right? Sin City, Dark Knight Returns, and then it was Preacher.
Yeah.
Right, had to read all of Preacher, Garth Ennis, and then
Fantastic.
a bunch of the Mark Millar stuff, some Jeff Lemire stuff, and it's like all the people who are on my recommended readers.
Yeah.
Right? A bunch of stuff there, Alan Moore, etc. Right, Grant Morrison, and but then much later, after we were married, I think it was when I was pregnant with my youngest, I read the entire Frank Miller Daredevil run, like the whole thing.
Wow.
And it was fascinating because it's kind of like a little bit of the gosh golly, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning.
And it turns.
And it just gets like just more adult, darker, more complex, right?
Yeah.
And then I read Elektra right after that, where Bill Sienkiewicz did
her own run, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was written by him. And I was like, after I read that, I was like, I'm done for a while.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, even
I'm
that
done for a whole while because
that later
Elektra is
stuff.
so depressing.
Yeah, it is depressing. But the later Daredevil stuff with Karen Page gets dark, very dark.
Yeah, I'm trying to think some of the MCU TV shows other than Agents of Shield that I.
What
really
about
liked.
did you saw WandaVision?
I did like it. It was really sad though.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it made
that
me cry.
line,
It made me cry at the end,
where he's like, "What is grief if not love persevering?"
Mm-hmm.
That was like, whoa, this is like one of the best lines in the MCU.
Yeah.
Loki. You didn't like it?
I liked some of it. It was a little like, the time travel headache.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
I would say though that the most that I've movie wise, not TV, but that I've seen recently is New Avengers. It is the most
animated. Yeah.
No. Thunderbolts. New Avengers.
Oh yes, Thunderbolts movie. Yes. Okay.
That
I love Thunderbolts.
Is one of the most emotionally intelligent comic book movies that I've ever seen.
I agree.
That it talked about grief, that it talked about trauma, was just, and it did not shy away from it.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
100%.
And how, they took Sentry and was able to do a visual of that, of what trauma and grief,
That was
really,
incredible.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that
and
was incredible.
Funny too, and it was also shocking, and it was all the things, of these characters that I don't know that I like all that much. Generally, I mean, I love her.
Yeah, and I love Red Guardian. Yeah, he is hilarious.
Yes, but
and I love Bucky.
Yes, and so I watched the Winter Soldier. What was it called? It was called
Falcon and the Winter
Falcon
Soldier. Yes.
and the Winter Soldier. I watched that, so I
Yeah, I
of
thought
course saw
I
this
thought it was
other.
okay.
It was okay.
It grew on me.
They just
Yeah.
sort of like phoned in all the stuff about Falcon for the movie and all that stuff.
They also try to put him in like a Hulk movie randomly, like
The
with
Red
all
Hulk.
these Hulk connections.
Yeah.
Well, even with I can't think of the villain. Not the Thinker.
Oh yeah.
With the big head.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I can't. Why can't I think? The something, right?
Yeah,
It's something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, it just didn't fit, and it's no fault of Anthony Mackie. I think he's
he's great. Yeah.
I think he's a great Falcon. And I think the story made sense. You know, I would have liked to see Bucky get the shield, but I think it made sense for where they were at the end game. It follows the comics.
That's Coates' run, right?
Yes.
Which is
Tasani Coates.
so good.
I mean, his Black Panther is literally
God.
the movie is his.
And that was another movie that made me cry. Both of them made me cry. Because, I mean, at the end of the first one...
Give me chills.
You know? At the end of the first one, so I grew up in San Francisco, and I actually lived in Oakland for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that movie, all I could think of is that if any people deserved that, like I wanted it to be real so bad.
Yeah.
You know? And I was just like, see, I'm getting all choked up now.
Yeah. No, 100%. No, I mean, that was a very beyond comics movie. It was so important to the culture and the fabric of the world and America and where we're at right now, and the fact that it was a director from Oakland within Ryan Coogler, you know, placing it in Oakland, bookending it, you know, from the beginning starting in Oakland to the end ending in Oakland, and having that young Black kid look up to him, see the ship, see someone that he could see himself in, and be like, who are you? And he's like, and it just starts like, all the lads, and it's like the best ending. It's so good.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw Kendrick right after, because Kendrick did the album, and then they performed with SZA, like all the lights, and I saw it in Oakland.
Oh, nice.
At the Oracle Arena, and it was just so beautiful. But yeah, it's just interesting and so beautiful when these comic book things that are ours, you know, because we grew up with them, are now for everyone. It's such a beautiful thing. Like, you get to see what we've been seeing this whole time reading it. So I guess that's the best part of those movies.
Yeah.
And TV shows, right?
Well, and this is why I think that the MCU was so important in actually keeping comics alive. Right? Because they appeal to that next generation and the next generation, right? And then they're like, oh, I want more.
Right.
Or the people who are watching the TV shows, they want more. So then they come in and they're like, do you have any stories about this?
Yeah.
Or do you have any stories about that? And so I think that that's like great. I mean, I had somebody come in who wanted the spider the South American one.
Yeah, the one from India.
Yeah. No, South American.
The woman. Not, are they in the Spider-Verse movies or no?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't think of it.
I have the book somewhere.
Okay.
But you know, like, just the fact that, you know, that dad was getting it. No, it was from Rivals.
Oh, it's from Rivals. Okay, yeah, I haven't played Rivals.
So like, here's this kid, right, who plays Rivals with dad, who now wants to know more about this spider character,
right?
That's Brazilian.
That's
right,
so
like,
cool.
And like, how cool is that? Like, how that works, you know? Or you go and see one of the Spider-Verse ones. Now you want a story about one of the spiders that's in there, you know, Silk or something along those lines, and it's like, that's neat. And it's really cool because there's a lot of moms and dads who are like, want their kids to be comic book people.
Yeah.
And so they're like, so what's the best way to introduce, you know? Like,
that's really beautiful. What advice would you give to women or young fans wanting to start something in comics like you did with the store?
Well, ask questions. I mean, this is the thing, like, talking to people
Uh-huh.
and asking questions is just the best way to learn how to do it your own way.
If you could give everyone one comic to truly understand why this medium matters, what would it be?
That's hard.
I know.
Um,
Of course, this could change. You know what I mean? Like, it's always
Yeah.
changing.
yeah.
But what is something that comes to mind that you would give to one person or to multiple people that would help them understand why this medium matters?
Maybe they called us enemy.
They called us enemy.
It's written by George Takei,
Okay.
who is Japanese American, and him and his family were interned during World War II. So everything was taken from them and they were locked up, American citizens. And it's beautifully done. It tells a really important story about American culture, right? By an icon, right? Star Trek and everything else, right? And I think the ones that are about historical stuff are the most important, because you can tell a story about something that happened to you in this medium and it's really accessible.
Wow.
Right? I mean, I vacillated. Maybe Mao's is another one
course.
that could be really
Yeah.
good. But I think that this particular story, right, about Japanese internment.
What's the name again?
They called us enemy.
They called us enemy.
Is not talked about enough, right? That this happened here, right, to Americans, and it's just not talked about enough. And I think that there's a lot of people who don't even know what happened,
Right.
which is sad to me.
Yeah.
And so I would say that would be the one I would choose. It's been translated into a ton of different languages. There's like a little kid version now. There's
Wow.
it's an important book.
That's awesome.
I could probably come up with a few others that I think that are outside of what most people would think. Like,
Right.
it's this DC one, it's this Marvel one, and there's some stuff I could think of there. But I just really, the thing that I think everybody should read is that.
That's awesome. What's one moment that reminded you why you love doing this?
Oh, there's so many. Okay, I'll tell you this one story because this was like so beautiful to me. So I had this children's book called Runaway Dosa.
Okay.
Right. So it's about dosas in Indian dessert, right? And this woman came in and she was here because her kids were here. It was like, you could tell she was like not into this stuff, right?
Right.
And she's looking around while her kids are looking at the books, and I see her out of the corner of my eye. She goes, and she picks up the book and she's like, and you could see it. She felt seen. She felt seen in this shop.
Wow.
And I was like, and she bought the book, and that's why I do this. That's why I do that. That joy, that ability, like, to make people feel like this is a place for them.
Wow.
Somebody who is totally not into it, right?
You saw just like her, like,
yeah,
like something lit up inside of her.
She
like,
just looked
this is me.
so
This is my
emotional.
story.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's really beautiful. Well, I have to say, this has been a really incredible conversation. To end it on that is like making me a little teary-eyed, but I just want to say thank you so much to, you, Chris, and to Invisible Jet Comics for hosting us. This was really beautiful. Make sure you guys, stop by the comic shop if you're in the Bay Area. Support your local comic book shops. It is very important.
All of them.
Choose something that you might not necessarily have chose before you saw this, because you never know what you're going to learn. So thank you again.
Yeah.
This was really awesome.
It was really fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. And
we'll do it again when I move back to my old shop.
That sounds great. Yeah. No, we have so much more to talk about. And you guys that's watching, drop a comment below. Let us know what you think about what we talked about. as long as it's respectful, we got to keep it respectful. But these conversations are important because they're supposed to start more conversations, and those conversations are supposed to start more conversations. As long as you can kind of put yourself in someone else's shoes, ask questions, because those that judge do not ask questions. And you want to have those real conversations, drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And so I hope you do. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Support your local comic book shops. Go see a comic book movie in theaters. And we will see you guys next time. Take care, my friends. Bye.
It's the Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. It's the Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. It's the Evan Edition.